Are you guys ready? Or are you still waiting on people? Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to go on? Okay, I'm gonna unmute you now. You're live.
All right. Community Preservation Committee meeting for July 27th. I will call the meeting to order at 6:30.
Motion open.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. First order of business we have is to welcome our new members, Larry and Claire. Floor is yours if you'd like to say anything. Looking forward to both of you being here and what you can contribute.
Make sure you're green.
Green button on, and you don't have to hold it. You can just leave it on the table. Pick you up.
Now we can hear you.
If I hold it, I'll drop it.
All right. So again, welcome aboard, and look forward to what you guys are going to bring to the table. Next up, we have the reorganization of the committee. So we start a new year, we need to elect a chair, vice chair for the year going forward.
I'd like to make a motion, Adam Haywood is chairman.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I think it's a good pick.
All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Unanimous. Now we need a vice
What?
chair.
Do you want vice?
Oh.
We haven't discussed this. I haven't-
I'm going to go ahead and make the motion for DJ McNulty as vice chair.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
I think it would be a good pick. Good pick.
I second that. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
One of the things I like about this committee is that it takes care of business.
Right down to it. I got that
Right.
truck sitting in the parking lot. I want to.
We are in the fourth item already, and we are a minute and a half in. I love it.
We'd be in five if you wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I'm not chair of vice.
All right, next up, we have an update from the town administrator, and the one following that is update on all open projects. I'm going to kind of combine them together. So I have the list of projects that still remain open, updated as of this afternoon. First one is the community trail that has just under $30,000 left on it, and that is for turtle mitigation and will slowly be dwindled down. So there's nothing we can do to speed that up. The next one on there is planting and preserving historic trees, which has $33,157 remaining. And are you still working with Arthur to figure out the trees in Elm Park?
Yes, a couple of things. There's like about 4 areas that need to be done on that stuff. The Washington Street landscaping, the Elm Square stuff, and then there's a couple other smaller items that were on that, so.
Gotcha.
How much was left on that? Like 33, right?
33,157.01.
Okay. Thank you.
Next one up is Washington Hall and National Registry, and there's $6,600 on that, and that, you're still just waiting on
That's in the
paperwork?
works. Actually, the lady who's gonna finish up all the writing and submission to the state and the feds started working on it 2 weeks ago.
Perfect.
So she's estimating it's gonna take her probably about 3 or 4 months.
Okay. Well, just keep us updated.
Will do.
Like to check these things off. Next one on here is the Pines Shade and Seating, and that has $11,565 remaining. That one, the project was done and ready to be closed out, but at the last meeting, Mike, you had mentioned that you might talk to Rebecca about trying to get some more benches or another shade structure down there.
Yeah, I have a meeting with her to talk about it a week from today, so.
Okay. As long as we're making progress on it. Then we've got the 46 Washington Street environmental testing for $7,000. That one, we are waiting to see what the feasibility study comes back with before we expend that money. Then we've got the trail enhancement project, which has $62,153 left on it, and that's an ongoing project you guys got going on.
Indeed.
Any major updates this month?
So so Mike and I finished putting stakes where all the new trail markers are gonna be. Works out to be just roughly under 100 throughout the 6 different trails. Might be a little less than that, but that was an important piece because we are gonna try to geolocate all these markers, so it's easier, so the mapping is easier and more friendly. So it's a good milestone. I believe Mike you also had some info about how the new bridge is happening, connecting Center Street to the rail trail.
Yes, so we had to file with Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Act, and I'm hoping to hear back mid-August so that we can close out a permit from conservation. Then we'll be able to build the bridge.
Love it, love progress. The next one I've got here is the Congregational Church Clock and Bell Restoration. That still has the full $25,000 remaining, and they are still pursuing a preservation restriction before they can expend the funds.
What does that mean?
It means they have to call it a historic landmark and sign something that says if something
So,
happens to
well,
that
that,
building, we get
per
the
what
money
we
back.
told them to
Yes.
do, and so they haven't, so that's something they're still,
They're still working on,
okay,
they're working on it.
okay.
And then.
I mean, we sent them the restriction that was approved by the committee.
They didn't like some of the words that were in it, and it has to be written by their lawyer, really. We sent them
So the town's
We
lawyer
sent
is talking to their lawyer, or how's that?
no, well, we don't want to have town council spending taxpayer money to come up with a restriction for a private entity. We're trying to get them to do it on their own. We sent them a sample of what it should look like,
Got it.
and they sent something back that did not meet the requirements, so the
Gotcha.
ball is back in their court.
Okay. Is that something that we would review here?
We certainly could. I think town council is probably in a better spot to review it.
Well, I thought you just said that we didn't want town council to waste.
No, I
the
don't think we
drafting.
should have town council writing it, but we absolutely should have town council looking at it.
Agreed. Okay.
So that is all the past open projects, and then the other projects that are on here are all projects that were approved at this year's town meeting, which is the Bagnell Basketball Court and Play Area, the completion of the Vito Hand Tub, Perry Park Phase 2, Pines Recreation Lighting Design, Shanahan Field bathrooms, Washington Park bathrooms, Community Garden Phase 2, and then the Crosstown Trail Project. So we'll be doing kickoff meetings for some of those in the coming month or so. I know that Rebecca is moving on the basketball courts in the play area because there was a want to get that done prior to school starting.
They're paving over there too. Was that something?
Yeah, that had some, that
Yeah.
was some part of it as well. And then they are working on procurement for the Shanahan Field and Washington Park bathroom units. That is that. So I think that checks off update from town administrator and update on open projects. Next up, we have updates on potential 2027 projects. We heard a few of them last week. I wanted to put that on there in case there was any more or anyone knew of anything.
I got a question on one of those.
Sure.
Was proposed for paving walking trails around the perimeter of the Pines Recreation Area. And I know that when the water treatment plant gets put in, they're gonna have to do some excavation out there, and actually in the parking lot and around the area. That might be one that could be put off until that's done. We don't wanna be putting in a paved walking trail around there if it has to be dug up in a couple of years when they are working on the water treatment plant.
I was at the last planning board meeting where we were talking about the water treatment plant, and the impact is not the entire Pines. It's really limited to the driveway down, and your point is a fair point, because we certainly wouldn't want to put something in just to have it dug up. So I think, I mean, any approving of this kind of project would have to take into account what's going on with the water treatment plant. I think that's 100%.
No, to piggyback on that as well, with the Pines Lighting Project, there's a potential impact there because the path would follow would be similar to the path that would need to be dug up to install conduits and poles for lighting. But there could be some level of, I see it more as a multi-stage project where let's design it and come up with a plan, and then see how much of that can be absorbed with the other projects that are going on. And then maybe we do a phase 2 of it to finish it off.
It'd be nice if you could have some economies of scale by opening it up one time and doing like 3 or 4 things in it, to
Right.
serve multiple projects.
Right, if
So you
you
wouldn't have to do it multiple times.
If you're
Save-
backfilling a trench, backfill it with the right road base so you can put pavement on top of it at a later date.
Well, and then even depending on the way it's going to be paved around the new project, you could incorporate some of the walking trails in the, what they're going to be paving around the building itself, depending on how that's going to, how the walking trails are going to work.
Sure.
It's a good idea, though, that they'll be paved.
Yeah, as it stands now, it's, the paved area is really just the parking area.
Yep.
So that's not super safe if you're taking strollers around and whatnot. So that was actually the genesis of the idea.
I think it's a good idea, and, like I say, I think there's a lot of hurdles to it, and it's gonna need to be combined with a couple of projects, but I think that could potentially be helpful.
Sure. Yeah, Michelle is interested in it, and she, with the last rec committee meeting, said that she was working on getting the plan needs documentation.
Yep. Perfect. I was just gonna segue into that. They are now up on the website, what do we call them, the eligibility application and the project application. So if anybody at home wants to do a project, that would be a good first start. They are live up on the CPC portion of the website, and they also shot it out on social media last week. I haven't seen anything come in yet, but it is summertime, so I think as we get a little closer, we may see a couple.
One other one.
Yep.
That, through Mike Dempsey. Is there any kind of a plan, Mike, to have some of those weeds removed from Johnson's Pond? That's getting filled up pretty good, and not only on the Washington Street side, but the Cove area on the Center Street side is starting to fill up with lily pads. And I know with a few years ago that to get in there with a machine and dug some of that stuff out, but it's filling in again, and it really, it won't be too long before you're not going to be able to run a rowboat out from the Washington Street side. Do you have any plans on presenting a project to get rid of those?
Well, the 2 times that we hydro raked it, it was expensive, and it turns out that every other place that hydro rakes does it on a regular basis. So, I looked into buying a hydro rake ourselves and doing it, but there was some issues with that. And, you know, we could hydro rake it again, but like I
It starts to
say,
get, it starts to sound like maintenance.
Yeah, almost,
And-
right,
and-
exactly.
Is there any more permanent solution than hydro raking? Is there, I hate to say a chemical we can dump on it?
Yeah,
but-
that's the only, that is actually the only other option is chemicals.
Well, one of the problems up there,
Yeah,
and I had mentioned it before,
yeah,
it's always over on that Washington Street side and now over on Center Street. But the sunlight gets down to the bottom of the pond, and that's what generates all this vegetation that's growing. And it's not a very deep pond in a lot of areas. I mean, I've ice fished that, and in some areas, you're only down like 7 feet. But was there any thoughts to raising the level of the pond so that the sunlight doesn't get all the way down to the bottom?
yes. I mean, I've worked with the highway department to try to keep it raised up as much as possible, but even when it's at its highest there, because of the stops on Washington Street there, it's probably still not deep enough, because I, like you say, those two areas are probably the most shallow parts of the pond, you know, maybe they're 6 feet at the best there, and that's why the growth proliferates. So, I don't know.
Novice question,
Yes,
can we make it deeper?
well, yeah, you could if we, you know,
All right, is that as simple as getting a machine in there and just digging it 6 feet deeper so it's dark at the bottom? And it doubles to get rid of the weeds that are there now?
yeah, you could, but
Just a theory, I'm
again,
not.
no, it's another option. It's another option. You know, everything has its downside, you know, that one's expensive, and permit-wise, it's tricky. The chemical one, it kills the stuff, but then all the vegetation falls to the bottom, and there's problems with that one. It's like there's really no good answer. I agree with you, Ed, 100%. I don't like it. I'm just not quite sure what we should do.
Ed, do you think maybe the select board might set up like a subcommittee to study like what could be done? Or have some sort of, you know, outreach to somebody, because I think we're sort of spinning our wheels here, and it's a real problem. And, you know, I don't know if this committee has the right solution, because
Well-
a lot of the things sound like maintenance.
Well, part of it, we don't own the pond. It's owned by Havel.
So any outreach with Haverhill about it?
Hmm?
Any outreach with Haverhill about it, potentially?
Nothing that I know of in the works right now.
Maybe that's an angle to take.
Explore.
Yes, sir?
I know that Mike had brought this up, he had the brochure about the machine
Yeah.
Yep.
a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's other inherent yearly costs besides the machine, was a place to land it and back up a truck to load, and then the
Operator
and
requirements.
and
Yep.
town, since that would require a license to run the machine, plus the licensed guys who drive the town trucks and dump it at a site. I thought we had talked, I didn't know anything about how to put a budget together on that item, but, it would be, I remember the cost of the machine, Mike, please correct me, it was like $183,000?
No, there's different ones, somewhere in the 100 to 130,000.
Yeah.
Maybe this is somewhere we get Arthur involved and, you know, maybe they can look and see, you know, maybe he can put in his budget to rent a machine
Yeah.
and do it, you know, as needed.
Well, I mean, if it's Haverhill that owns the pond,
Well, I
Then-
think Haverhill only owns a portion of it.
well, they should be at least a portion of the solution then.
Agreed. All right.
Haverhill's got a big sewer problem right now.
Well, you gotta,
Well, no, understood, but, I mean,
You
they
gotta-
also have a
All
budget
combined.
that's 10 times the size of ours,
you
so, I
got a
mean,
section that's owned
Yeah.
by boxers. That,
They got
There's
plenty
no
of money,
problem.
too.
Yeah, bring them in.
There's no,
Bring
there's
'em
no
in.
problem on that side, it's deep enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right behind where the old pump station was, where they were pulling the water out of, that's a deep area, and there's not much of a problem there. I think Adam had just mentioned that, any thought about digging it deeper?
So any solution to this problem sounds like the select board would be the best starting point to either set up some sort of subcommittee or something to explore, like, because you're talking about multiple municipalities that have to get involved and, you know, we don't know what the solution might even look like. I think that's probably the first
I
step.
agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But you form a committee, and it's dragging your feet, and it'll never get done.
Well, it's better than not forming a committee and having us spin our wheels every year about it.
No, and honestly, it's not fair to put it on Mike. He's not the Johnson Pond maintenance
But
guy.
with the,
Right.
It's, another thing is to hire a consultant. We could pay for a consultant
To
to tell us what to do.
Maybe that's a worthwhile project to throw forward. It might be
that
well
sounds
spent
like a
$7
reasonable
yes.
explanation.
And then you can kind of let them,
Yeah.
Hire a consultant to tell us what needs to be done.
Yeah,
Well, I'd sure like some Haverhill Boxford money on that too, then, if we're gonna be hiring consultants
And,
to deal with the problem. It's a multi-town problem.
And if you expect to get any money in Haverhill and Boxford, you're living in fantasy land.
Well, you gotta ask first, before you say you can't get
Why,
nothing done.
why ask when you know what the answer's going to be?
Because you might just be surprised. That's why they play the games.
I would be surprised.
both those communities have CPA too.
Right.
I would be surprised if you got any money. I would say that there's.
But you definitely get zero money if you don't even care to ask.
All right, I'm gonna steer this back in and say, let's look into this a little bit further, but I don't think we're gonna solve anything here tonight.
No.
Fair.
Trying to solve world hunger, and it's just not gonna happen.
Sure.
I think all the thoughts are out there. I think
But
it's-
I like, I think, Mike, can you put together a project to hire a consultant to tell us what we need to do over there?
okay.
That's something that should have been done probably before we pulled any of the lily pads out.
All right, moving on, we need to plan the needs hearing for 2027 projects, and based loosely on our schedule that we approved, that was gonna be at our regular September meeting, which, if you jump ahead 2 items to set date and time for the next meeting, is September 21st at 6:30. So I think we should do the needs hearing at the beginning of that meeting. And I will have it posted and placed in the paper and all that jazz, if you all agree.
Sounds good to me.
Any objections?
First at 6:30?
Yes, sir.
You can advertise it in the town common.
There you go.
It's cheaper.
Do you know a guy?
Yes, I know them.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right,
What's the problem?
Right, announce it in there.
yep. Next up, notice of Community Preservation Coalition dues. So we got our yearly dues bill from the Community Preservation Coalition. It is $2,875, which is paid out of administrative funds. It's more just a transparency thing and letting you know. I think that's good value for the money, for how hard we lean on them to help us determine projects and whatnot,
Do we need
and the
that-
support they provide.
do we need a form of a motion to pay that bill?
Nope. Next up, we have approval of minutes from the 6:29 meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the 6/29/2026 meeting. As drafted.
Oh, second.
Nice, Mike.
All right, any discussion on those? All right, all those in favor?
Aye,
Abstain, wasn't there.
that's right.
Yeah. Perfect, okay. So that is good. Set date and time for next meeting, we just did that, September 21st at 6:30. That leaves us skipping August, so we can have somewhat of a little break from here.
Oh, okay. So remind us of the timeline of what it will be for the fall, for what we're doing in September, October, and November.
So we will have our needs hearing. I'm shooting off the cuff on this one.
Yeah.
Needs hearing will be that September 21st. Then we have eligibility applications due on November 1st. And then we'll have project applications will be due, I want to say it was February 1st.
That seems right.
Yeah, but the theory was if we already approve the eligibility, then we
Gotcha,
can get a
yeah.
well-formulated, thought-out project.
Final, okay. Okay.
All right. Next up, items not reasonably anticipated. Ed, do you have anything?
Negative.
Kim?
No?
Patrick?
Just a couple quick ones.
Sure.
Most of the new proposed 2027 projects thus far come from the Recreation Committee. And so I had a couple. And I had a couple of them that I just wanted to just raise. Steve Hamill wanted to talk about the possibility of having additional shade structures at the Pines. So I was going to try to link them up with Mike and Rebecca to talk about the, what they cost based on the last project and some of those sorts of things.
Yeah,
But
well,
the
that,
idea was to maybe get a couple more because the kids playing and whatnot.
no, understood, but that project is still open and there's still money on it, so they could do if you can convince Rebecca that it's worthwhile, they can do a scope modification and we can just.
I think
push it
he
through.
wanted to expand it to the Bagnell too, so.
Okay, that's fair.
there's some of that, but the point was, I was gonna try to have him get in touch with, Mike and or Rebecca about that, because they would have good information about how much these things cost and, what it looks like putting them in as we just put one in.
I'll bring that up with her when I meet with her.
Awesome. Other projects for 2027 proposed, there's also, Steve Hamill was also talking about trying to find a way to open up where, at Shanahan Field, the brush to the river, so that you've got some other ancillary uses for the property. We've got this really nice parking lot that seats a lot of cars. The field is flat, so it's a good spot for like laying out blankets and things. So, if you put a stage up there or something, you'd be able to get a lot of extra uses or something like that. But of course, there are hurdles in the way of, how much would you clear? How much could you? What does wetlands think? All that sort of stuff. But that is one of the things that's advancing as well. And also, Emilio Dunn had a project that I intended to talk about last time we were here. And it was about trying to put bike lanes or some sort of extra path on at least Center Street. Center Street being a very important cut through town, and it's a place where people are using it as pedestrians and cyclists as is, and it's if you drive down there, as I do pretty much every day, it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
So I think there is some interest from the town in trying to do something.
I would say talk to Arthur and Rebecca and see if that falls under the Complete Streets program, and maybe we can tag team on with that.
It might, but it certainly, the concept certainly dovetails with the master plan and connecting some of these parks and some of that sort of stuff, and also, the green space in town. So it's definitely something that seems to be the kind of thing that this committee might be interested in.
Whereabouts on Center Street are you talking about?
I mean, I think the sort of universal goal would be to have it all the way through Center Street, but I know it's driving it, it's difficult because on this side of the street, there are stone walls at this place, and sometimes the landscape doesn't really work on the other, so there'd be I think it'd be a phased approach where you do it from part to part. Some of the places are easier than others.
I know it had been proposed a couple of years ago, we're gonna run a sidewalk from Route 97 down to, it would be Yale Street, and then up Yale Street. And I don't know if we're gonna put a sidewalk up Yale Street, but so that the kids could use the back, the Bagnell School.
Yeah.
And then it was proposed to run it, the former road commissioner, Rennie, when he was here, he was gonna run it up to Washington Street, and actually up to the church, because there is a sidewalk along there. But there was two brooks there that narrowed the roadway, so that was part of the problem there. But at least I thought that they already had mapped it out for down to Yale Street.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think conceptually, adding sidewalks where you can add sidewalks in places that are heavily used in town makes a lot of sense. It's safer, it increases safety, encourages people to get out and, use the streets in that way, and, like good recreation. It's definitely something that's worthwhile. I don't think it's super expensive to do or maintain, like, the bricks and mortar stuff of it, but there are hurdles because, yeah, there are brooks and a lot of private residences, and, the terrain is an issue, so it's not so simple as we just plop this down SimCity style.
But it is amazing that how many of the students are using the bicycles
Yeah.
on the rail trail. I see them
Yeah.
sometimes in the morning down by the old SD Lumber, and heading to the rail trail, and that either they're going to the school or they're playing hooky for the day, but at least they're headed towards the school.
Well,
And I see it on School Street also.
that's one of the reasons I'm really excited about the bridge extension from the rail trail to Center Street Greenway, because right now, the access to Center Street's not that great, but so many people use the rail trail that, popping off that and getting onto a totally different kind of trail would be really easy, once that bridge is done.
Well, why, I always wondered why at Center Street at 97, when they put in the rail trail, why they didn't actually follow the old railroad bed. If you come out of the rail trail onto Center Street, the railroad went straight across, and it's a small area, but they never continued it there. They went out around, out to 97, and that doesn't make any sense.
I think that might have been something with the Langs who own the house right there. It was basically, there was an easement or something.
Yeah, but
In their
the
deed.
old railroad, that's the way the old railroad went, was straight
I
down
know it
there.
is.
Well, without getting too far off topic, more bike paths along major roads in town makes a lot of sense. So that was all.
Yeah, I mean, if it sounds like something we might be able to help with.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of those bike communities have access to grant money. They're building the bike paths through, a lot of main drags more so, but
Yeah.
they might have access to knowing what funding we can get by the bike trails.
Yeah.
And then the old thing, you're not supposed to ride a bicycle on the sidewalk. You can ride it on the rail trail, but you're not supposed to ride a bicycle on the sidewalk.
Well, forget about that. We got e-bikes now, and they're going like 40 miles an hour.
Danger. All right, moving on. Mike, you have anything?
No.
DJ?
Good.
Larry?
All set.
Claire? All right, that brings back to me. The only thing I have was not directed at you two, but can we get, we spent a lot of time making this monthly update form that we're supposed to get. Can we get on that program?
Sure.
And the reason I say that is because that's something I can just post on the website, and I don't have to like translate it, and just, it'll cut out a whole lot of legwork on my part or Rebecca's part, if that's,
Sure.
if we can get back into the habit of that, that'd be cool.
Do you want them if there's nothing
If
happened?
there's no progress, I wanted to say no progress.
Oh,
just
so
so
no
it's-
matter what, you want to report?
Well, then it's just easier, it's all in
Yeah,
one
no,
place.
I
it's
understand.
Transparency.
Right.
Sure.
All right, that's all I have.
All right, with that, I will make a motion to close the meeting at 7:04 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 7:04 PM.
See you in September.